Let's take a look again at this latest development in the hijacking story out of Cyprus. We're watching today a closer look at someone escaping, jumping out of the cockpit window right there. And a moment or two earlier, we saw a couple of other men run down the gangway and then off the tarmac. Now, before this development, Egyptian officials had said that 7 people, 4 crew and 3 passengers were being held. Again, the numbers have varied, still some confusion and fluidity around this story. But let's go right to our Middle East correspondent, Derek Stoffel, who was watching things as well with us and from Jerusalem. What are we hearing, Derek? Any developments there as far as events on the tarmac or about the possible motives for what's unfolding there today?
Well, Heather, in terms of the number of people on board, as you say, fluid situation, but just seeing a number of people exiting the plane, some heading down the steps, and we're seeing video now of, one person leaving, sort of escaping through the cockpit. The early reports unconfirmed that these are members of the crew. We do know that from Egyptian authorities that 3 passengers had remained on the plane. The Egyptian aviation minister refused to give the nationalities of those passengers. But when the plane landed after being hijacked, and it landed in Larnaca in Cyprus, we know that the vast majority, some 50 people, most of the passengers who we believe to be Egyptian perhaps, they were able to leave in a very orderly fashion. But so right now you've got a situation where not as many people as earlier are on the plane. And as for motive, very unclear as well. Sort of 2 theories that are out there right now. We're hearing from the Cyprus state broadcaster that the Egyptian hijacker is demanding the release of female prisoners. Well, that sort of flies in the face of what Egypt's aviation minister said about an hour before that there had been no demands made. We were also hearing more of a motive, talking sort of more about a personal motive, that the hijacker was demanding to see his ex-wife or ex-girlfriend, a romantic liaison in Cyprus, and that was the reason that he demanded that the plane be hijacked. But of course, a developing situation. We do know that hostages remain on board the plane, and negotiations aimed at ending this situation continue.
Derek, we just think back 5 months to Sharm el-Sheikh and another situation at another Egyptian airport. That one led to the death of more than 200 people when a plane was brought down. So what kind of questions is this incident raising now, again, about Egyptian airport security?
Well, the big question is whether the hijacker does have explosives, a possible suicide vest on him. That's what reports were saying. He went to the pilot and said he has a suicide vest. If the investigation determines that to be true, well, then, of course, that is another big black mark in the eyes of Egyptian airport security. Of course, going back to October 31st of last year, when the Russian jetliner departed Sharm el-Sheikh airport loaded with Russian tourists who were on a sun holiday, a bomb exploded, destroying the plane, killing 274 people, and that showed clear holes in the Egyptian airport security system, that a bomb was allowed to be brought onto the plane. I've traveled to Cairo many, many times, and certainly the airport security much more lax than what you would see here in Israel, where it's quite high, or even in Toronto, another airport I'm quite familiar with. Officers who weren't paying attention as much as they should be, perhaps, but Egyptian officials were saying in the months since the Sharm el-Sheikh bomb attack that they had beefed up security. If, and this is a big if it was found that there was this explosive vest on board this plane today, then another serious examination of Egypt and airport security will have to be undertaken, Heather.